And then, of course, the biggest thing is when you've taken a punch and you've carried on, you've continued. Somebody's punched you in the face and you've taken it willingly to a certain extent. You're there out of choice. What is there to hold you back now? Why boxing?
For me?
For you, why boxing?
Καλώς ήρθατε σε ένα επόμενο επεισόδιο podcast Μουσικός, εκτός, συνόρων. Αυτή είναι η ειδική σειρά special series που κάνουμε που λέγεται Beyond Borders. Welcome to another special series podcast Beyond Borders. Today I have the pleasure to have with me as a guest of the podcast my favorite, best box trainer
And
Aisha.
only boxing trainer. Your only boxing trainer.
Aisha. Aisha, welcome.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
It's really nice for me and I think it would be really interesting today. We're gonna discuss some topics and mainly we'll talk about how is it like working and living abroad. And especially we will talk about boxing. I also started boxing like 1 month now.
It's been almost 1 month, yes.
1 month with Aisha, who is doing boxing for women,
Yes.
right? So here in Oman. So we will talk about all these interesting topics. So Aisha, can you tell us about a little bit how you started your journey with boxing?
Yeah, so I never ever thought that boxing would be something that I would do. So when I was a child, I always wanted to learn how to fight, but I was too scared. I thought I'm not good at sports, I'm not strong enough, I'm not fast enough, there's no way I could ever do it.
Whoa.
But then, so after I had my kids, I realized I'm just spending all my time with my children and we were moving to different countries because of my husband's work and I really didn't do anything for myself. So I decided it's time I start maybe doing something that scares me and puts me out of my comfort zone. So boxing it was, because also I feel like because I'm very quiet, very calm, very laid back, and I always wanted to know what does it feel like to get a punch in my face or to punch somebody. That was always my dream.
So how many years now?
It's been more than 10, about maybe 12 years.
How did you become a boxing coach?
So I feel like boxing is the perfect sport for women. And it's just the perfect sport in general because obviously you increase in strength, you increase in stamina, but also you have to use your brain so much, your coordination improves. And then even more than that is the stress relief. If you have any kind of problems in your life, you have anything you're feeling upset about, you go into the boxing gym, you do a good training session. You feel it, right?
Yeah,
you feel it. You forget everything, you're so focused that nothing else matters.
That's true. You originally came from Pakistan, right?
So I never lived in Pakistan. My ethnicity is Pakistani, I'm Pakistani. I grew up in England. So
In England?
I lived the first 22 years of my life in England.
And then you told me that you were living many years also in US.
Yeah, I lived in the US for about 7 years. That's where I started boxing.
So how was your experience like living and working in US, and if we compare this to Oman?
So just as a sport, boxing's much more popular in the US. And I think there's a lot more awareness about it, and it's also very popular with women for fitness. So the difference in Oman is that I think boxing is not considered a sport for women. There's a misconception that, if you're a woman and you box, you must be very mean, or maybe you look like a man.
Yeah.
And it's too violent. But I think boxing is perfect for women, and hopefully when people in Oman see how we box, they'll change their opinion of it.
So there were a lot of differences, like if we compare it to US.
It's just not as popular. It's just not as popular, and I think you won't go to a gym necessarily and see so many women boxing, because here, just because of cultural differences, a lot of the time women prefer to train separately from men. So you won't see a lot of videos or just yourself in person in front of you, women boxing. So if you go to a boxing gym and you go to a mixed class, maybe you'll have 15 men and 2 women. So it's just not considered as something that, as a woman, maybe you just don't even think that you can do it, because you're not hearing your friends talk about it, whereas most people will talk about going to Pilates class or yoga or Zumba. The awareness is not there, and the knowledge that, okay, you can come to boxing class and you don't actually have to punch someone in the face. You know, you can do shadow boxing, you can use the heavy bag, we can do the pads.
It's not only that.
It's not always only violent.
Yeah. Okay, one of my favorite questions. What challenges did you face as a female coach in a man-dominated sport as boxing?
So I think the biggest challenge, has been, like I said, trying to encourage women to come boxing and to convince them that that once they come inside the boxing gym, it's a safe space for them, where we're going to support you. The other women who've come for training, they're going to support you. We're not mean to each other. We're competitive in a very healthy way. And to be honest with you, I've never experienced anything negative from the men that I have trained with, or that I have even helped to train. Men, when you tell them that I'm a boxing coach, they seem to be a little bit taken aback, but amused more than anything. That, okay, you're a woman, but you like to fight. The problem would be, I guess, having sparring partners. So when I train, I'm mostly training with men. But they're generally very careful to not send me flying across the room if it's a bigger man or a stronger man.
Yeah. So for just to say that for the people who don't know what sparring is, what would you say it's in a sort of?
So sparring is when you actually get physical with each other. So it's like you put yourself in a fight scenario and you punch each other and you dodge punches and you move out of the way. And so it combines everything that you've learnt in training, all the footwork, all the technique with the punching.
And also there, I guess that when you compete, from what I've seen, if I'm right, you compete female with female and male with male, but they need to be also at the same
weight.
Almost weight or physical.
So before
appearance.
every competition, all the fighters are weighed, so they match you up with somebody in the same weight category as you.
Just to be fair.
Yes.
Because otherwise it wouldn't be fair.
Yes.
So how do you came to Oman and started working here? And how is life living and working abroad so far for you in general?
So I'm living in Oman because my husband is Omani, and he wants to live here, and his work brought him back here. When we came back here from the States, it was in 2020 during Corona, and my son at the time, he was about 12 years old, and he found it very difficult to adjust because school was online and he's starting at a new school in a new country, and he can't make friends. I told him, Isa, it's really important that you start doing a sport, because otherwise you're just coming home from school and it's homework, TV, video games, and only spending time with me and then bed. So we discussed different options for sports he could do, and because he'd seen me box and he knew that I was boxing, so he picked boxing. So we trained at Oman Boxing Club for a while, and then the head coach and owner asked me if I would coach the women's classes, because for most women do actually prefer to train with a female coach.
Yeah.
And
so
that's how I started at Oman Boxing Club, and it's perfect.
Do you like living and working abroad, or would you prefer to have a stable place that you could live and stay?
So they both have their advantages and disadvantages. So when you travel a lot and you move around and you live in different countries, you pick up something from every country that you live in, and you pick up something from every culture that you experience. So it definitely helps you grow as a person, and just makes your life fuller. The downside is having to start up from scratch every time. Every time you have to make new friends. You have to make your home again and get adjusted, so that can take some time. But I definitely, even though it's really nice to be settled and then you build up a network of people in one place, I like having this spread out, that I have friends in so many different countries and I've experienced so many different things.
I'm also thinking about that. You can actually build your life wherever you are, because it's you, because it's your family. So if you are also here with your family, you are able to build a life that you would like and you want.
Exactly.
So sometimes it could be hard and difficult, but it really helps you to grow to that ability, to have that ability to adjust to wherever you are in the world. So that's really important.
You become very adaptive. You realize things will not always go your way. Everything in life is not straight. You go like this and you adapt.
Yeah, that's true. And what's the biggest cultural difference and differences that you noticed here in Oman, and if we compare it to the US, for example?
Oh, so as a woman, I feel like in the US you're much freer, just with everything in general. Nobody is really that bothered about what you're wearing, or are you too loud, or you're too quiet, or your hair is messy, or maybe your makeup is not right. I feel like in Oman we judge women a lot by how they carry themselves. So, for example, I told you that people are very shocked when they find out that I box or I'm a boxing coach, because it's not really perceived as a feminine activity. So I think it's harder in Oman if you want to do something that people just don't generally think of as being something that a woman should do.
Yeah, not quite feminine, or you it's so strict that we think that women should always be that and that, always perfect.
Yes, women are perfect. Women
perfect
are perfect
clothes,
over here,
perfect makeup, and you're not allowed to be messy or something. In Europe, I would say, for example, from my perspective, and in Greece, it depends, I think, on where you are. If you are in biggest cities that I see in the capital, for example, it's more like you said in the US, like you're more free and they don't, the people they don't deal with you, they're not quite interested on what you're wearing or something. But if you go to like smaller cities or countryside or city that which I came from, countryside, I came from a really small city, people are, they always gonna gossip about
judge you
or
a little bit.
Yes. So it depends on, I think, on where you are. Other cultural differences have you noticed here?
In Oman, if you have family, that's, I would say that's probably definitely a plus point, because as a society it is very much focused on family, on your parents and aunts and uncles and cousins. So people tend to spend on the weekends, they tend to spend a lot of time with their family. They'll go out, eat for meals and everything with family. I think the focus is less on friendships with people outside.
Here in Oman, you realize that they usually give a lot of family is really important to them.
Yes.
And also, I would say it about Greece, that too, especially
It's the same?
Greece. Yes, really. We give too much importance to family, I think.
So I think it's the same over
I would
here.
believe,
I think
yeah.
that's a similarity.
Yeah. And for example, I would say that this is mainly to when the kids are growing up. For example, when they're 18, the kid will go like to study, to make the studies, and then, but the family, they support the kid, and that's the good part. But when you're getting older and you're 30 or something, many people, they tend to still live with their parents, and also this is because the main reason for that is also for economical and financial reasons. But at the same time, I do believe that both sides agree to that. The parents, they don't want the kid to leave.
It's the same
the
here.
house.
It's exactly the same
Wow.
here. So until you get married, you'll live with your parents.
Oh.
And if you don't get married, you'll stay with your parents.
Wow, so it's the same.
Even if you're 30, 40 years old, the expectation is that you'll only leave your parents' house when you get married.
Oh, wow. But in US, it's not like that.
It's normal to leave your parents' house when you go to college, and especially once you have a job, you will get your own apartment, your own place to live. And if somebody's living with their parents, it's most likely to be because of financial reasons, like you said, that they want to save money or they can't really afford to live alone, or if their parents need somebody to take care of them. But I don't think it's a choice of somebody who wants to grow and make their own life. I think most people in the US would prefer to move out and start their own independent life.
That's why I like US and I've never been to US. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I will change my mind, but at the same time it's my dream to go there. I really want that. But I'm really into that same mindset.
So me too. So my daughter just graduated from college and she's still there waiting to do her master's. And I think it's so good for her to be independent. She knows how to manage her money. She knows how she has to go to the supermarket by herself, get her own groceries, cook for herself. She knows nobody's going to come and pick her up in their car. She can't just pick up the phone and call her parents and say, I need this, I need that. She has to make her own decisions.
Yeah.
And she's learnt a lot.
That's really important. That's how you grow. Like
Yes.
this. You said before that you're trying to create a safe place in box, and then I really confirm that it's that's true, that it's it feels like a safe place.
Yes, like you have your sisters, right? It's really nice.
And
It's really nice.
And it's like, and you also created that.
Thank you.
Because to my experience, I have experienced, like, not with trainers that much, because I didn't have any. I wasn't really. I was bad at every sport.
Thank you, both of us.
Really, at school, we would go to play volleyball, football, tennis, ping pong, running. I was terrible at every sport, but I was good in arts. But so, because of some medical issues that I also had some doctors that they would say, you won't you cannot do anything. Not you cannot do sports, but you cannot do any official competitive style.
Okay.
So they had. I wasn't allowed to do in
So you
a
know
professional
in your head,
level
you know
anywhere.
in your head
So
that you
I
can't
had
do it. Yes.
So I had always in my mind that sports are not for me.
Yes.
Even that now I'm not doing in a professional level, but I had in mind that I would never do it because I cannot do it, and I was and I had this in mind, and I was afraid also. So that thing that you said before, that you started boxing because you wanted to challenge yourself, and think that you really have the strength to do. That's
Same
also
for you.
the
Same for
me,
you.
because it's a symbol also to me that I have the strength to do some things. And at the start, when I begin now, I was also enthusiastic, but at the same time I was really afraid and scared, not because of my mind.
Exactly.
I meant because of what
that's
I thought.
the biggest thing that holds us back.
Yes,
Is our own thoughts.
because I thought, and I had I didn't tell you that, but I also had a panic attack. I do
Because
had
of
panics.
boxing?
No, it's because of
Okay.
boxing.
Okay.
because of my mind, I was so scared, and so I had so many voices in my head that were saying that no, maybe it's not right for you. Maybe you get hurt. Maybe
You're
it's
crazy,
not,
right?
Yeah, maybe.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, it's not good for your, I don't know, for your heart, for your health. And I mean, my doctor, he said that it's okay, now you can do whatever you want, it's okay. But it's my mind that was saying that you cannot do this. So it's really...
And you're doing amazing. Like, you're doing so good. Really, really, really good.
Thank you so much. But but I want to say that you really create a safe place, like, for you. If it was other trainers, I don't know, because sometimes there are some people that trainers that I've experienced that with some gym trainers, for example. They are so strict, so brutal, I don't know.
Yes, yes.
And they push you that much because you're doing that in a level that it's okay. And this is an ability to be able to understand. He's a little pushed now and I should not push him further, or he can do more. So there's a really short line, I think, in this. And some trainers, they don't understand this.
So, I mean, I've been through it myself. I've had good trainers.
Yeah.
So I can see, I know, I've experienced what a difference it makes to have somebody who pushes you but supports you at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, you guys always come with such good energy and such good mood that I think you don't realize a lot of the time yourself what your potential is. So I have a question for you. So why boxing?
For me?
For you, why boxing?
My reason is like similar to yours, because I wanted to to feel that strength.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to feel that I do have that strength and that ability. And this is something that came through my mind quite recently. I mean, I didn't thought about it many years ago. Especially when I was a kid. I remember that my dad, he wanted to for me to go to learn like martial arts, and I was said no, I don't want. I want to go to the music conservatory.
Oh.
And instead I went to the music conservatory, but. And I had that thing in my mind that I talked to you about, that I thought that I'm not good at any sport and I won't be good at anything. So it was a no for me to any sport. So, but the last years, I think the last year, it came through my mind, it crossed my mind, and I said, okay, this kind of sport, I feel boxing would make me feel really strong enough. So that's why I think I chose it. Yeah, and it's really like that. I mean, you.
So you feel stronger now?
Yeah, it's a thing that it's both the mind, like you said, both body and mind, that they go along together, and so. It's like the body tries to convince you that you can, and even if the mind is not ready yet, it's like a connection.
Yes.
So the mind will finally believe that too, and the opposite, the quite opposite.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
I think.
Exactly that. Yes. I think you put it really well.
Yeah. Okay, so. What advice would you give to someone who would like to work and live abroad and try, I mean, mainly at the sports industry or generally?
So I think one of the most important things is don't be afraid to ask questions before you move to the new country. Try to find maybe online groups or anything that you can get some information, and also embrace everything. Not everything is going to go perfectly, not everything will be what you expect it to be, but it's all a learning process. So I think if you accept the change and you accept the difficulties with all the good stuff, then you'll have a good time and you'll definitely get something positive out of it.
Yeah, that's true about the groups. There are really several groups that you can try and find wherever you go, I think. And we don't realize that.
Yes.
We don't realize that wherever we go in this and wherever we will be in this world, we can always meet people that are like us, have the same mindset, and we can connect. So. And that's the really important thing, and it can support you to every difficulties that you may have on its own. So how do you see boxing empowering women, both physically and mentally?
Okay, this is my favorite question because honestly it's a very tough type of training, and I feel like once you've done a boxing training session, I mean, you know now that what your body can go through, and you can deal with so much, and it increases your strength and also your stamina, and then obviously your brain works a lot during a training session. So by the end of it, you're thinking, well, if I can do this, I can do a lot of difficult things. This is not the only difficult thing that I can do. And then in terms of fighting, if you've stepped over that barrier that we sometimes have, that we're not going to hurt someone else, and I don't want to punch somebody else because this is not the right thing, this is not what I'm supposed to do, and all the other mental blocks, I think you become more adaptive in your life, that if somebody is going to come and confront me, if somebody is going to challenge me, it's okay for me to stand up for myself. It's okay for me to speak my mind. It's not the end of the world. And then, of course, the biggest thing is when you've taken a punch and you've carried on, you've continued. Somebody's punched you in the face and you've taken it willingly to a certain extent. You're there out of choice. What is there to hold you back now? Because that is one of the scariest things, that I'm standing there in front of you and you're going to maybe do something to me that will cause me harm. So now if I can deal with this, I can deal with anything. I can deal with any of my other work challenges or life challenges, anything that upsets me. You feel like you're just stronger than everything.
Yeah, that's so true. The ability to learn that it's okay for me to stand up for myself. And this is really what I think I mostly it's my biggest challenge, I think.
You're very nice. You're very nice.
It's so hard for me to
I was the same, Evelyn. I was
to
the
be
same.
aggressive.
I was
it's
the
so
same.
It's
Yes.
so hard.
Yes.
And because in my real life, I mean, I couldn't do any hurt to anyone.
Yes,
anyone. So
I know.
it's so hard for me. I can try. I can focus, for example, now that I'm doing boxing, I can focus on defending myself, but I cannot focus on being aggressive. It's so hard. I don't know.
As long as you're defending yourself, I mean, that's the most important thing, right? To take care of yourself and to, you can stand up for yourself without being aggressive also.
Yeah, I think
there are ways to do it.
That's the main difference, I think, in the mindset, in the perspective. For example, if you see it like that, and if I see it like that, I'm trying to see that it's not that I'm being aggressive because I'm angry, or because I don't want to think about it. I don't know. Some people maybe it works for them, but for me, I don't think
it's
it
not your
works
character.
for me.
I think so. It will make you feel unhappy.
Yeah. So
if you
it
feel
doesn't
like
work for
you're
me to
losing
think that
yes.
I'm angry now and I'm gonna punch you. It's really more helpful for me to think that now I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing it to defend myself, and because you you punch me, I need to defend myself.
So one thing that we talk about in boxing is that even when you're fighting, always stay calm. It's not about retaliation.
Yeah.
Stay calm. Think about what you're doing. Think about your moves. You don't want to lose control, because once you lose control and maybe you're doing this, somebody else who's calmer, your opponent, will come in and find the right time and punch you. So I think what you're saying is very, very relatable, and I think you're the perfect boxer. Because that element that you have to stay calm, to maintain your form, you know this is how you should be, you know this is how you should stand, you know this is how you need to behave, but you can still get your way. You can still stand up for yourself, you can still defend yourself, and you are maybe better able to explain what you want.
Oh, thank you so much, because I really had that misconception of you need to be I don't know, somehow in order to do martial arts generally or boxing. And when I said that to my friends that I started boxing, or before I started, I'm thinking of started boxing, because I was thinking some time ago this year, and they said, "Are you sure?" Maybe it's not for you, but they didn't say it in
this
a
is what
bad
we were
way.
talking about. Yes.
Yeah, but I know that my friends love me, and they didn't say like in a bad
They're trying to
way.
protect you.
Yeah, but they said that maybe you, because they say that you cannot be aggressive. Okay, that's what they said. So yeah, but I said okay, I will try it. I will do it for myself to see where I
What
can go
happens, yeah.
and what happens. And my family, when I said that to my family, and now they said, well, they said, yeah, good for you, because you need to protect yourself out there. And I mean, so it wasn't quite that much what I wanted to hear, because the reason they find it good, because it seemed like women need to protect themselves, because the world out there, it's difficult for them, and it's not easy, like, to be a woman out there and to walk out alone, especially at night.
Yes.
So, and that's so sad to think that okay, because the world out there, it's like that, you need to learn how to protect yourself. And but that, for me, it's not, I don't like that, and I don't like to think, and to the people to think about me that she's doing it because she needs to protect herself. And I mean, okay, that's good. You need to. Everyone should know how to protect themselves, and not only women.
Yeah, it's a nice side benefit to
Yeah.
boxing, right? It's not
Yeah.
the main thing.
Yeah, but it's not the main thing, and
Yeah.
shouldn't be the main thing, like, to protection at defense, because and especially for women, because it's not like, it shouldn't be like that. It should be everyone to knows how to.
Exactly.
And the last question, what are some key lessons that boxing had taught you that can apply to everyday life, and you want to share with us?
So stay consistent in everything that you do. The more you do something, the more you keep trying, the more likely you are to be successful, and the better you'll get to it. And don't ever give up or think that you're not good enough, that you can't do anything. Yes, you're going to do everything to the level that you're capable of doing it, but also the more you keep doing it, you're going to surprise yourself. And be confident. Even if you don't feel it inside, you have to be. You have to act confident. You have to act confident.
Yeah. So now, thank you, Aisha, for this conversation. I think it was really motivational for everyone that would like to see it. And you've shared with us many important things and aspects, also about, as well as your life and living and working abroad, as well as about boxing and women boxing.
Thank you.
So thank you.
And thank you so much. It's always good to spend time with you.
Thank you. So don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and comment if you would like to share something with us. Ξεχάσετε να κάνετε μια εγγραφή, να κάνετε και ένα like στο βίντεο, και τα λέμε στο επόμενο επεισόδιο podcast. I'm afraid of ants.
You're afraid of what?
I'm afraid of ants.
Of us? Are you serious?
Yeah. Strong woman, but I'm afraid of ants.